Welcome to the Week in Italian Startup, where we discuss the latest highlights happening in the Italian tech and investment ecosystem. A lot of deals, a lot of round, some big, some like a good starting in the seed space, and then of course the status of EU tech, as a series of interesting insight. So yeah, for the listener, next week is gonna be the last of 2021 of the Week in Italian Startup, and we're gonna go through some of the biggest highlights in Italy with me and Nick, and you're absolutely welcome to join.
Oh yes, please.
All right, without further ado, let's start with the news of the week. All right, let's see. Easyrain. All right, this is a Piedmontese company working in the automotive space, basically trying to actually doing and having deployed a product recognizing through AI the status of the wetness level of the roads, and so basically they can help you out avoiding aquaplaning. It's the biggest raise of last week actually. Pretty impressive actually, 5 million, led by Indaco and the Progress Tech transfer. So pretty impressive actually.
Yep, that's an interesting technology, as you said. I'm not surprised that it is being developed in Turin.
Yeah,
it's basically the headquarters in Italy. For automotive.
Indeed.
I remember that Fiat and Stellantis was born there. Technology is very interesting. It probably is very, let's say, modern in a sense, because it fits into the computerization of the car.
Yeah.
So adding one additional AI level within your car.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
AI is pervasive. Always more and more even in sort of application that are unexpected, like aquaplaning. I would never have thought of that, to be honest with you. So very interesting, very crossover product. ML and AI applied to aquaplaning. Imagine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you might think that's probably something quite marginal in a sense. just a portion of the car used only when it is wet, it is raining,
Totally.
so on and so forth. But then, if you turn around and think how many cars are there on the market, so how many operators are there actually building and distributing cars, you understand that the potential economics and the impact on such a technology is quite huge.
Totally true.
So marginal, yes, from the point of view of the car, but it's important from the point of view of the market. And it works, and it seems to work.
Sure. And another point which I feel it's very smart is that is engine agnostic. So beside all the mess happening between combustion engine and electric engine, who cares? These dudes are gonna survive, no matter who wins, because if it works, it's definitely engine agnostic.
But actually, probably it will become even more important as think about self-driving cars, right? Mm-hmm. So this becomes an input to the central control system that has to decide what to do, and it has an additional area of intelligence, thinking close to the wheels.
Great point.
So it absolutely fits in the creation of the autonomous driving car. So it's another component related to safety. I don't know whether you've been lurking on Twitter lately, but I have. And I've seen a few tweets going around, either boasting or promoting the safety of Teslas. Also, in particular, related to the autonomous driving. So with short videos about, the danger of Tesla not being able to turn on the street, or saving a life because it appropriately changes roads, so stuff like that. It's coming, and it's coming in that wave.
Absolutely. Another data point to actually help the machine learn. All right, moving on. Let's talk about fintech. A raise of 500,000 where Cashinvoice acquired a portion in FlowPay. So this is a particularly interesting deal under many aspects. So let's start about talking about Cashinvoice first. Maybe that's probably the good starting point. So
Yep. So it's basically a startup working on invoice payments. So basically invoice advanced and managing the cash flows related to invoicing. So the startup raised $500,000 in funding. Probably, I think from a syndicate of angels, not from a specific investor.
Yeah.
There you are, exactly. Invoice trading is the exact term.
Correct.
Very good.
So this is another way of supporting the liquidity of companies. Essentially, these guys come in, a company gives to them all the pending invoices, all the receivable, and then Cashinvoice will have the task to collect while the company basically gets immediate liquidity. So a great way to boost cash flow for a fee, of course, for a discount or whatever. I'm not sure about the business model, how exactly they monetize, but it's definitely something that smoothen up the cash collection cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So
a spread between the factual value of the invoice and the
that's my guess.
The amount actually collected.
What is interesting is that they've been so they acquired a stake in FlowPay. So FlowPay is working in what is defined as open banking, which is essentially all the infrastructure that has been built on top of banking API, which essentially basically means get data from banking and build an app that uses those data precisely, both as for doing something or for showing something. So it's really built on top of any banking API. FlowPay does essentially it's a solution for multi-bank and multi-banking account. So essentially you can plug in all your banking information, and this is just a centralized platform that allows you to better deal with your receivable and payables as a company. And this is the perfect fit, of course, for exactly for Cashinvoice. So that's very interesting.
It makes sense. It is interesting that apparently Cashinvoice took a minority position in the FlowPay. So basically, it's acting as an investor, not strictly speaking as a strategic partner, let's say so, in terms of consolidation.
Correct.
But still, put in money, then integrate the platforms, and gather value from your own business and from the pieces where you invested in. Is absolutely interesting, I would say, and interesting move.
Alex, I'll uncover an extra step, an extra layer, which I found particularly interesting, especially at the end of the article, which is this. Essentially, Cashinvoice is also one of the co-creator of a new fund that works on credit trading, and this fund is called the SMES Alternative Credit Fund. So basically, this is a closed-end fund, FIA, Fondo di Investimento Alternativo, that essentially works with a strategy where they essentially manage this instrument for supply chain finance, credits, and invoice trading. So very interesting angle. It's a fund. It's a fund with a precise sort of investment strategy.
Yeah, again, it's probably nothing new from a certain point of view. We have been talking about this in different times. So this is something that banks do. Bigger banks probably, if you think about bigger receivables or big chunks of receivables from bigger companies. It is again the dismantling of the bank by picking out different pieces of it and putting them together in different places.
Yeah, great point. Absolutely great point.
It is another example, and extremely interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know these guys, and they're called Alternative Capital Partners. It's an SGR, which is an Italian company for the management of savings, which is legally authorized by Bank of Italy. And they've basically been working on a sort of credit trading product and also sustainability funds. So they have a sustainable security fund, and they have infrastructure. So probably like a bigger project in general. And yeah, this is one of the one they're developing. Very, very interesting for sure.
Mm. Yeah, here probably this is made possible because Cashinvoice and FlowPay in a sense have access to the supply of the craze that the resources that you need to set up such a fund. That's why probably traditional banking goes with the big customers that have a lot of receivables, and they are the natural speakers for the traditional banks. But here we are talking about
so in a certain way, Cashinvoice is kind of the source of the deals. So they do deal flow on behalf of the fund in a way.
That's true. I mean, I'm not 100% comfortable with the way the flows work, but that makes sense.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Let's talk about a celebrity in the world of startup, Enrico Pandian, launching his own StartupGym, which is a venture studio / investment fund. They've been raising 1.5 million, again, one of the top raises from last week. And the model, they've been trying to model such a structure for a while. I've been talking with Enrico on this model, and it's super exciting and very, very interesting founder. He's a serial founder. He loves to found startup and then sort of find CEOs to run them. That's an interesting model. And now they've been like launching officially StartupGym, which is this is basically I think it's called a dual entity model, where they want to do both being an accelerator, a startup studio, and then at the same time be a fund. Nick, can you hear me?
Jack, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Here and there, it's like you're missing the network here and there, because I hear badly both on the audio and the video.
So let me check.
Connection for
yeah, let me just switch.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Gregorio, but I don't know whether you have the same problem.
Let's see. Let me switch. All right. Is it better?
Well, of course I can hear you saying it is better, or can you hear me? That works. That always works.
Exactly right. Awesome. Okay, here we are. So Pandian is launching basically StartupGym as a dual entity model. So both a startup studio, creating and developing ideas and launching them from 0 to 1 essentially. And then probably launching the venture arm, which is the one helping out the growth and the financing stage. So very, very interesting model. They already have 2 projects in the pipeline. They're looking for the founding team. It's solid. Looks very, very solid to me.
Yeah, I'm actually knowing Enrico, I'm not surprised this is what he is doing. This is what he does best. Yeah. Ideating and launching startups and finding the teams that will run the startup going forward. This has been basically his legacy so far.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. This is a pretty solid proposal, because he's proven multiple times that he can do that.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Congrats,
Enrico.
Yeah, awesome job for sure. All right, talking about food startups now. BallPros, basically a service selling. This is an e-commerce play selling like balls with different ingredients and different product. Received like some interesting funding from a series of investor, about $500,000. Actually, from investor which tend to be pretty strategic actually, which is not only Club degli Investitori, but also the founders of Sweet Guest and Delirious Capital, which is the fund by Riccardo Pozzoli, which have been essentially pushing a lot of companies relating to branding and future of brand products, branded product, but super interesting like hardware product, which have had like a pretty good success. So a nice, very nice vehicle, the Leros Capital. It's been moving very swiftly. I know they've been investing in Depop back in the days, so it's one of probably their most famous investments. So not a bad thing. So excited for them for sure.
Yeah, I don't know them very well. It seems that you know them much better than me. So it's very, very interesting their investment in this, which I mean, it's particular in the sense. So it's a food tech, not just food tech. It's all built around the bowls as a concept, not just the food. Which is it's an interesting take.
It's like an e-commerce of like very niche product, like mono product, I would say, and playing it with the fun factor also, because people, and the healthy factor for sure, all the granolas and all the different products. So not bad at all. Interesting. Nice boxes. Good Christmas present for sure. We're doing some marketing here for them.
Yeah, now that you mention it. Yeah, you gave me an idea. Thank you.
Awesome.
You gave me an idea. Excellent.
All right. So for the BallPros founder listening, if there is another.
No, for myself. I mean.
Okay, for you.
I'm in difficulty with the last Christmas presents.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk about Azimut. Again, one of our favorites. Azimut has been a big player this year. They've been like basically going in a very, very different directions. Well, not different, but very interesting direction on different verticals. Right now, they've been playing in the crypto space, digital assets for long, as we've seen. What has been interesting is the partnership, which I think we mentioned before, between Azimut, Sygnum, and SBI of Japan about different collaboration. This one is about the Digital Asset Opportunity Fund, which is a vehicle that will invest in digital asset opportunity. And as a reminder, Sygnum is actually a company working in the digital asset space, both in terms of custodian. Is like they do a lot of services actually. They do brokerage, tokenization, asset management in terms of.
They're like a bank of bank-like services to the crypto industry.
Exactly. So they've been deploying for the first time capital, investing in a Singapore-based crypto exchange, which is Coinhako, and apparently one of the fastest growing crypto exchange in Southeast Asia. And the plan is really to explore other markets other than Singapore, which, by the way, Singapore, in terms of blockchain, from what I know, is one of the hot points, ecosystem for everything which is crypto and blockchain for many reasons. So it's definitely a good bet. So the idea, the invested sum, which I believe is undisclosed, will help the expansion in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, exactly. Not much to add here, other than the fund itself was established in Singapore.
Yeah,
it's basically investing locally. As you said, it's probably one of the hottest locations in the world for crypto startups.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to stay close to where your main targets are. So traditional Silicon Valley approach.
Yeah. Great structure, great partner. I mean, big players, SBI as well. Interesting. I think they're also. I believe Sygnum is also has a banking license in Switzerland as well, so they can actually be player in multiple region. Bad marketing. I mean, you cannot call DAO in the crypto space a digital asset opportunity fund. Don't call it DAO.
That's right. That was I was waiting for you to come up with that, but I mean the naming surprised me. When they announced the investment, there was no name that I remember.
I agree. Yes.
So we talked about it, but the name was not this one, and I think this is very bad naming.
Bad marketing, guys. It's the DAO is a different thing, because when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, some decentralized organization stuff happening in the investing world. Nope, it just means digital asset opportunity. But
yeah,
whatever.
but then again, the latest DAO fund, that's the last DAO fund that I remember, didn't end well. So
Okay.
I don't know. That's doubly bad marketing. I mean,
Interesting.
don't we have a friend? You remember in 2017, 2018, that DAO, that one that used to invest in startups?
Not too good.
Not
too good. Not too good. Awesome. But jokes aside, great move for sure. Very interesting to see how they're gonna develop. Is it gonna be only sort of picks and shovel sort of strategy for the blockchain part? Is it gonna be like tokens? Is it gonna be other kind of digital assets? So I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do. Very
We'll
cool.
see the next investments where they go.
Yeah. All right. Another surprising news, which you mentioned, which is a public company, Italian public company, FNM SPA, investing in basically the holding company of the brand Snowit, which is one of the big player in basically ticketing for mountain and mountain skiing complexes. And they acquired 33%. Very interesting play, actually. To me, it's pretty surprising because FNM is, I think the revenue is around like 280 million euros per year, managing infrastructure such as train, autoroutes, and public transport fleet, I believe. So, from a strategic standpoint, it makes sense, but it feels like these guys are massive company and then they're trying a small step into the digital space, and I'm positively actually shocked that such a giant sort of have the sensibility to actually enter pretty heavily. I mean, 33% of equity is a big play into a company like that.
Yeah, this is the second acquisition they made, I think, this year, and the other one was Bus for Fun, I believe. So it was
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not new at this, first of all, and second, you're right. If they are moving in a digital space by looking for inventory, in a sense. So for things that go beyond the movement of people, but they are related to the movement of people. So holidays, vacation, tours, Bus for Fun. So it's an interesting strategy. So it's diversification of their business that in related sectors.
Yeah, totally.
So kudos to the chief investment officer, or
I agree.
whoever is driving this strategy.
I agree.
Because that's rare, let's say so.
Yeah. Good job, for sure. All right, last element, State of European Tech 2021, very interesting. So now, as you suggest, I pulled up the other graph from last week in Italy, just to have a comparison. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool because we've seen good stuff. I mean, we've seen like the sort of the more than the doubling of the Italian investment between 2020 and 2021, which is insane. And the same trend is definitely happening in Europe. Obviously, the different scale. Italy is about closing 2021 with 1.4 billion. Europe overall is closing with, I believe, the total.
That's like 120-ish.
Yes, I would say so. So
we are 1%.
We're 1%. We're 1%.
So as you said, the good news is that we are growing and growing close to the way Europe is growing. The bad news is that Italy is only 1% of European capital raised by startups.
Yeah.
Long way to grow.
It's a long way, my friend. But like at this rate, it's not gonna take too much.
Well, the fact that we are growing at the same speed means that it will take forever.
Well, that's true, actually. No, exactly. To increase percentage-wise, good point. Awesome. Last comment, I would say definitely a great suggestion that you, Nico, mentioned, reading through the State of European Tech 2021. Great resource for the latest trend, made by Silicon Valley Bank in conjunction with a bunch of different great companies Slash, organizer of one of the biggest events in Europe, Oric and Atomico for sure, and a ton of material here. We would need a full episode on this, Nick.
Oh yeah, I think more than one full episode. I think I haven't finished reading the report. I already put a couple of hours into it, so
wow, cool.
You really need a good dose of caffeine and free time.
All right, and with this, thank you for all the listeners. Next week is the last session of the year, and thank you, Nick. Of course, great materials, great chat, and I'll see you next week for the episode in the Week in Italian Startups.
Yep. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for hosting as usual. See you next week for the last episode of the year, the special episode with, all the biggest highlights so far, at least.
Yep.
We'll see whether Christmas has some presents for us. Oh, you never know, of course. It wouldn't be the first time that after Christmas you have a final close of something big.
Yeah.
But still, I know nothing. And see you in a week.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Bye-bye.